What lies beneath the earth? Have you ever imagined it? If we keep digging continuously into the ground, deeper than the oceans, deeper than the height of Mount Everest, where would we eventually reach? If scientists can travel tens of millions of kilometers from Earth to reach the planet Mars, then why do we repeatedly fail when trying to dig a hole just 12,740 kilometers deep into the Earth? In today's video, we'll explore what mysteries lie beneath the Earth's surface that can even overpower massive drilling rigs. Let's start from the very top layer of the Earth, the one we live on. This is also where about 80% of the planet's living creatures reside. Just 1 to 2 feet below the surface, you'll find insects and burrows made by rodents. Down to about 6 feet underground, graves are typically dug. Going even deeper, around 13 feet below the surface, you can find the tomb of the ancient Egyptian king Tutankhamun along with his treasures from over 3,000 years ago. In ancient times, Egyptian kings were usually buried about 10 feet underground. Down to about 20 feet underground, metal detectors can detect metal objects buried in the soil. Going down to around 23 feet, you can find the Cu-Chi tunnels. During the Vietnam War, soldiers built this tunnel system to stay hidden, communicate, and launch surprise attacks against American forces. Down to about 40 feet underground, Nile crocodile can dig burrows, making them capable of creating some of the deepest animal-made holes. Going further down to around 65 feet below the surface, you can find the Paris catacombs, a vast underground burial site. There are more than 6 million human skeletons here. By the 18th century, the cemeteries of Paris had become completely overcrowded. At that time, a terrible epidemic spread through the city. So the French government decided to move and bury these remains about 65 feet underground. The result is what we now know as the Paris catacombs. Down to around 180 feet underground, you can find underground urban farms. These types of farms can be found in China. Here, crops are grown underground using artificial lighting instead of sunlight. At around 328 feet underground, nuclear waste is buried so that it cannot harm humanity or the environment. Going even deeper, at around 346 feet underground, lies one of the deepest metro stations in the world. This station is located in the city of Kiev, Ukraine. It is so far below the surface that passengers need to use multiple escalators or elevators to reach it. At around 400 feet underground, you would reach depths where you could theoretically observe the deepest reaching roots of certain plants. In Africa, some species like the wild fig tree develop extremely deep root systems in search of water, allowing them to survive in very dry environments. At around 500 feet underground, you can find one of the deepest hotels in the world, the Solace Silvermine Underground Hotel. It is located in Sweden. There is no Wi-Fi and no mobile signal here. Guests can spend time peacefully in candlelight. Communication is only possible through a radio system. At around 720 feet underground, you would reach the depths associated with the world's deepest known underground river system, the Congo River, located in Africa. However, humans have even gone deeper than this in exploration and drilling projects. At around 950 feet underground, there is one of the world's deepest railway tunnels, known as the Seikan Tunnel. It is located in Japan and connects 2 islands. This tunnel is even built beneath the sea. If someone is hiding 1,000 feet underground, they still may not be safe from nuclear missiles. The B-82 nuclear warhead is a type of weapon designed to cause extreme destruction. If it hits a target, it can potentially destroy even structures built 1,000 feet underground. Going even deeper, you would reach the Dead Sea, which is about 432 meters, 1,419 feet, below sea level. It is one of the lowest points on Earth's surface. At this depth, even very tall buildings could theoretically fit within the elevation difference. Going even deeper, at around 2,300 feet underground, you would reach the San Jose mine in Chile. In this mine, 33 miners were trapped for 69 days without regular access to food and water supplies because the mine entrance had collapsed and was completely blocked. At around 3,180 feet below the surface, there is one of the deepest open-pit mines ever created by humans, where you can stand and still see the open sky above. This place is known as the Bingham Canyon Copper Mine. It is so deep that the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa, could fit inside its depth. At around 7,257 feet below the surface lies one of the deepest known caves in the world, known as the Veryovkina Cave. It is located in Georgia. But surprisingly, Humans have gone even deeper than this in exploration and drilling activities. At around 10,500 feet underground lies the Kolar Gold Fields, KGF, mine. It is located in Karnataka, India. At one time, gold was extracted from this mine. The popular film KGF was inspired by the history of this mine. At around 12,000 feet underground, you may find some of the deepest dwelling organisms on Earth. One of them is often referred to as the devil worm. Surprisingly, this organism can survive even at such extreme depths, where conditions are highly harsh and challenging. At around 13,123 feet, about 4 kilometers, underground lies one of the deepest gold mines in the world, known as the Mponeng Gold Mine. It is located in South Africa. This mine is known for producing some of the purest gold in the world. Inside, temperatures can rise above 66 degrees Celsius, making working conditions extremely harsh and dangerous. Working in such conditions is a major challenge for the miners. Still, for relatively low wages, people take on these risks. The mine is so deep that if someone were to fall from the top to the bottom, it could take about 30 seconds to reach the lower level, meaning the fall would last long enough for a missed call to happen. From this point, going a little deeper to about 2,932 feet, the depth becomes comparable to the height of Mount Everest. If you go down to around 35,640 feet, you would reach the deepest point in the ocean. In 1951, the British ship HMS Challenger measured this part of the ocean using a rope and found the seabed at a depth of about 10,863 meters below sea level. This point in the ocean is known as the Challenger Deep. It is so deep that if Mount Everest were placed upside down into it, there would still be about a 2-kilometer gap left. But you might be surprised to know that humans have drilled even deeper than this in some places. At around 402,230 feet, about 12 kilometers, underground lies one of the deepest human-made boreholes, known as the Kola Super Deep Borehole. It is about 23 centimeters wide. In 1997, a Russian mission aimed to drill as deep as possible into the Earth, even attempting to reach closer to the planet's center. However, after nearly 9 years of continuous drilling, they reached a point where the temperature rose to around 200 degrees Celsius, making further drilling extremely difficult. As a result, the drilling equipment became so hot that it was impossible to go any deeper. This remains one of the deepest boreholes ever created by humans, and no one has been able to drill further beyond that point to this day. Before we can understand how deep the Earth actually is, we first need to learn about the layers of the Earth. The Earth is divided into 4 main layers. The first layer is called the crust, the second layer is the mantle, the third layer is the outer core, and the fourth layer is the inner core. So far, all our digging has been happening within the Earth's first layer. This layer is about 30 to 70 kilometers thick. It is called the crust, and this is the layer where we live. Going below 70 kilometers, we reach the mantle layer, which is about 2,900 kilometers thick. However, this layer is not uniform like the crust. It can be divided into 2 parts, the upper mantle and the lower mantle. The upper mantle extends down to about 660 kilometers and is mostly solid but can behave in a semi-fluid, slow-moving form in certain conditions. From this layer, volcanoes are formed. On the other hand, the lower mantle extends down to about 2,900 kilometers beneath the Earth's surface. Due to extremely high pressure, it remains partially solid, but it is still able to flow very slowly, almost like very thick toothpaste. The temperature in the mantle ranges from about 1,000 degrees Celsius to 3,000 degrees Celsius. After that, when we go below 2,900 kilometers, we reach the outer core. It is about 2,200 kilometers thick. This layer is made mostly of molten iron and nickel. The temperature here is extremely high, ranging from about 4,000 degrees Celsius to 5,500 degrees Celsius. It is so hot here that no solid material can remain stable in this layer. The movement of molten metals in the outer core also helps generate Earth's magnetic field, which protects us from harmful solar radiation coming from the sun. After descending to about 5,000 kilometers, we reach the Earth's inner core, which is mainly made of iron and nickel. The temperature here ranges from about 5,000 degrees Celsius to 6,000 degrees Celsius, which is almost similar to the surface temperature of the sun. However, due to extremely high pressure, this layer remains in a solid state. According to scientists, metals from the inner core and outer core, through geological processes in the mantle layer, eventually reach the Earth's crust. From there, we extract them. These include elements such as iron, copper, nickel, magnesium, aluminium, gold, and silver. Volcanoes and tectonic movements play an important role in bringing these materials up to the Earth's crust. If we combine all the layers of the Earth, the total depth is about 6,371 kilometers. This is because once we pass the center and move further down, we would essentially be going through the same layers again in reverse order. Because we know that the Earth is spherical, so if you imagine digging a tunnel straight through the Earth from one side to the other, you would come out on the opposite side. For example, if the tunnel is dug from India, it would theoretically come out near Chile, passing through the Pacific Ocean. The total distance through the Earth's diameter is about 12,742 kilometers. But with modern technology, we have only been able to drill down to about 12 kilometers within the crust layer. For example, if Dubai is considered the Earth's surface point, then the Earth's center would be about 6,371 kilometers away, somewhere in the opposite direction, such as North Korea. However, humans have so far only managed to drill this far into the Earth, as you can see.